Welcome to Always Considered. I'm your host, Brian Malone.
And I'm your host, Julius Spiciani. And we're here to talk about the surf yesterday, which was February 10th, 2023. Brian, can you tell me a little bit about the conditions, maybe when you showed up?
Showed up at the pier about 8 o'clock, Julius. I saw you there. It was the mid break at the pier was really good. Waist to rib high, offshore conditions. Probably the winds were probably 10, 12 plus mile an hour. The mid break was breaking really good with less and rights, short borders and long borders, and probably about 12 to 15 people out. Really fun conditions.
They were, yeah. That was one of the nicer days we've had in a while.
Yeah, it's the waves have been off and on here the past couple of years due to like storms and different things like that. The sandbars have not been good. Pier's slowly coming back. The mid peak can be really fun, especially when it breaks from the outside, comes in through the mid break into the inside. That's starting to develop. Makes for a really fun day.
It does.
Although it wasn't yesterday, but the pier is just one of the better, more popular surf spots.
Yeah, I started surfing a little bit before Michael, and I remember there being outer break from pretty much the dive beach past Portofino to like 16th, 15th Avenue. It was like there were so many outer breaks, and then Michael came through and destroyed everything.
Yeah, that happened and resulted in hardly any mid break, outside break, really a really deep outside break, and then just coming in on the inside and slamming.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on for a good while. Breaks were just not very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's starting to turn around. There's decent breaks up and down the beach, Avienda, different places. Navarre breaks really good now. Navarre breaks really good, especially the east side of the pier. And then the west side, outside peak, can be really good on an offshore day. It's a strong swell and it's an offshore day, condos can block some of that northwest wind, and it's not nearly as strong of a wind that you would expect.
Oh, wow.
So that's a good spot.
Jeez, I think I need to read your surf pamphlet.
Now, Navarre's really good. Now, I like a spot in Orange Beach, Cotton Bayou, Terry's Cove.
Okay, I've surfed there once.
Yeah, that can be really fun, especially the east side of that pier as well. Sometimes it's a smaller break, but it's still a lot of fun. The vibes in the lineup, people are so kind out there too. A lot of nice folks.
Go ahead.
Breaks, like I was saying, like Orange Beach, Cotton Bayou over there on the east side of the pier. Sometimes we surf the jetty at Alabama Point, but it gets a little crowded there, but it can hold a pretty big crowd. Alabama Point breaks decently when there's a strong east swell. You know, the beach is kind of blown out with a strong southeast wind.
Mm-hmm.
That jetty kind of blocks off some of the windy conditions,
Yeah.
and it can line up pretty good there. And then there's Fort Pickens Point, which can break okay, but it's really tide dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only a short window of opportunity sometime when it's breaking. But back in the 70s and even before, that place was fantastic. And then Frederick came along, and that hurricane kind of messed up the conditions. It kind of came back some. And then I don't know, you probably ask more smarter people, but there's a shoal out there that, the swell has trouble getting past. But there's days back years ago in the 70s before Frederick, Pickens Point was just the spot on a strong east swell. It'd wrap around, it'd come into the point and wrap around into the bay.
Oh, wow.
And with the east wind, the beach was pretty big and kind of blown out. But when that wave wraps around into the bay, it's an offshore wind. The east wind's an offshore wind that wraps into the bay.
So it smooths out.
Yeah, it makes for a good wave.
I watched a YouTube video. It was a local dude. I don't remember the name of the video, but they were interviewing Steve Forstall. Is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
And BZ Turner. Yes. And they were talking about exactly what you were talking about, how in the 70s, Fort Pickens was like insane.
Yeah, Beezer, Steve, those icons from around here. I think Beezer's in California now. Forstall's on the East Coast.
Did you know any of those guys?
Oh, yeah, they were. I was a kid watching them surf. Back then, Steve Yancey and Beezer and Brad English, just a host of guys. J.D. South, they grew up here and then went to Hawaii. Mark Booth, I think he grew up here for a little while, went to Gulf Breeze High, then he just moved to Hawaii. But you got Caesar Turner and Yancey, I mean, they kind of put surfing on the map around here. Thanks for tuning in to All Ways Considered for Saturday, 11th February 2023.